You're telling everybody else about faith. You're telling everybody else about how God will. But deep within, you're like, will you, God?
Hello, friends, and welcome to another insightful episode of FrontStage, BackStage. I'm your host, Jason Daye, and each and every week I have the privilege, the honor of sitting down with a trusted ministry leader, and we dive into a topic on an effort to help you and pastors and ministry leaders just like you really thrive in both life and leadership. And if you are joining us today, I encourage you to subscribe or to follow so you do not miss out on any of these great conversations. This week, I'm really excited to be joined by Bishop Geoffrey Dudley. Geoffrey is the founding and senior pastor of New Life in Christ Church, which is one of the fastest growing churches in the Metro East area of St. Louis, Missouri. And now Geoffrey has been in ministry since he was a teenager, and he is a retired Air Force chaplain and lieutenant colonel. His most recent book is entitled Leading Through Storms. Geoffrey, welcome to the show, brother.
Well, Jason, thank you so much for having me. And wow, it's an honor to be with you and to be with those who are watching and listening to hear my story.
Yeah, and your story is an incredible story, brother, and it's something that I certainly appreciate your openness and even your vulnerability to talk about some of those challenges that all of us have in ministry, right? All of us experience as we are serving. But you are open to share, and you wrote about this in your book, Leading Through Storms. Very open, very vulnerable about some of the challenges that you faced and how Christ has helped you navigate those challenges. And I would love to just kind of kick off our conversation. If you could share just a little bit about your background, obviously your service, but then as you retired, entering into local church ministry, and just give us a bit of a framework for the world that you're coming from, Geoffrey.
You know, and I appreciate the opportunity to give a little bit of background about myself. I from North Carolina, that's God's country, and I feel so bad for those of you who are not from North Carolina, but the Lord will help you. So I'm originally from North Carolina. I went to UNCG, and from there into the Air Force, and I always wanted to be a chaplain. My brothers were served in the Navy and the Marines, and one in the Air Force. And they said this thing to me. They said, you know, because I was a young boy preacher. In my tradition, when you say you're called to preach, then the pastor puts you up to preach the next Sunday. You know, almost literally. I'm not kidding.
Right.
And so, but at any rate, I was 13. Fast forward, and I remember them saying, Jeff, the chaplain, this is a preacher that's in the military, and you can talk to him and he won't tell anybody. Jason, that rung with me. That rang so deep with me. From teenage, I kept that in my heart. Went through, became an officer, switched from being the officer that I was, they call it the line officer, support officer, to a chaplain. And then, fast forward and doing, I don't know who said this, but they said, if you love your job, you'll never work a day in your life. And that's what the Air Force chaplaincy was for me. And then 21 and a half years, I then transitioned and retired here in the Midwest now, in the St. Louis metropolitan area on the east side of the river, and planted the church. And because there was a congregation that was a part of the base, some of them followed. And we planted, and God breathed on it. It's all God, because I know who God is working with. Yeah. And so, and therein lies, this awesome military experience, successful military experience as a chaplain, all of those pieces, and then planted the church, booms, didn't bust, but there was some definite challenges.
Yeah. Yeah.
Challenges.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. So talk to us a little bit about some of those challenges, because some of the ones that you write about in Leading Through Storms, some of the specific things that I'd like to lean into a little bit that many of us in ministry have experienced, are those times where, I think you said it in the book, some people were jumping ship, I think is the phrase that you used, which can be hard, right? As a pastor, as a ministry leader who's pouring your lives into people. Talk to us a little bit about that experience and those times, and how Christ led you to kind of navigate those types of experiences.
I think I said this to a young pastor who I will not call his name, but he has a completely thriving. It's an international ministry. It's completely blowing up. They had a challenge. He posted it on Instagram. I know him personally, he's spoken. And I text him and I said to him, now you're about to find out what church you really have.
Mm.
You got thousands of people, but now you're about to find out what your church is really about. And so when I look at, things are growing, things are going well. And then there were challenges and there was a split, not a split, a splinter.
Mm-hmm.
And when you refer to jumping ship, I refer to it that as well as being canceled.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that we talk about is being canceled. And I talk about this in the book. And I don't know, as a pastor, nothing is more difficult, I think, than when people say, pastor, bishop, whatever the tradition is, Brother Jason, I think we're going to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
I don't know about you.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. It hurts. Yep.
And you turn inward.
Right.
What did I do? What can I do? You don't try to keep them because, then you are then sowing in cancer in your ministry. And you struggle through that. And as a result of that, that really impacted me. And one of the things, and your listeners may say, well, what went down? What went down? Come on now, tell us. A storm.
Right.
How about that? More than one. We were in construction and the bank pulled out.
Mm.
And at the same time, this particular, actually my executive pastor pulled out. And at the same time, the youth pastor. And at the same time, the worship pastor. All within about 18 months to 24 months.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Geoffrey, as that happened, as humans, as you said, it hurts, right?
Mm-hmm.
How did you begin to process that? And what were you experiencing emotionally, mentally? What was going on in your life at that time?
I had an executive coach. And coming from the context of a chaplain, I had a counselor because I know some traditions may not be as open to therapy and those kinds of pieces. Mm-hmm. Because I was a chaplain, because that's what I did.
Right.
So I was opening for myself. And so therapy, an executive coach, prayer partners, one in particular, another pastor who's originally from Liberia who came to America with a suitcase full of faith.
Mm-hmm.
And now he has hundreds of churches all over the world.
Wow, right.
That's the kind of guy you want to pray for.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That's the kind of guy you want to pray for you. So I'm calling him, prayer. My covering um, is praying with me, and those are the things that was doing. But you asked, how did I feel? I was really down,
Mm,
and it was hard for me to hold it together.
mm,
And you would have never known that, because I think as pastors and ministry leaders, we we click on the light because we're on stage.
yeah. Yeah.
And then there's an expectation that is projected on us. You're fine. You're telling everybody else about faith. You're telling everybody else about how God will. But deep within, you're like, will you, God?
Hmm.
And a lot of those self evaluations, coulda, woulda, shoulda, um, going on, and really trying to pull it all together.
Hey, friends, just a quick reminder that we provide a free toolkit that complements today's conversation. You can find this for this episode and every episode at pastorserve.org/network. In the toolkit, you'll find a number of resources, including our Ministry Leaders Growth Guide. This growth guide includes insights pulled from today's conversation, as well as reflection questions, so you and the ministry team at your local church can dig more deeply into this topic and see how it relates to your specific ministry context. Again, you can find it at pastorserve.org/network. Yeah, absolutely. One of the things, Geoffrey, that I love that you shared is that you had some key supportive relationships in your life, as far as a counselor, as far as a coach, as far as some prayer partners, close friends that you could be real with and open with. And I think that's so key for us in ministry, because so often we isolate ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And when we isolate ourselves and we go through, these very discouraging seasons, it can just wreak havoc on our lives. So talk to me a little bit more, Geoffrey, if you could, about how do you see those relationships, that kind of support structure around you in your life, in ministry, and the value that they kind of play in you being an effective shepherd, an effective pastor, an effective leader?
The value, it's hard to put a value on it. Let me say this to those who, when I listed those things, and your ministry nor your own cash flow could support those things.
Hmm.
You can find someone. And I remember, and I'll just put this out here, because when they read the book, they'll see this. I had we were in construction.
Mm-hmm.
The bank pulled out. We were all over everywhere trying to find a bank to come in. It's hard to grow a church with red iron in the air,
Yeah.
with half of the campus not done. That's hard.
Yeah.
And I remember that I had gone and hired an executive coach, and I was talking to him. Now, executive coach is very different than a counselor.
Right.
Very different,
Right.
and the two are not the same. And but Jason, I was so down. We were in construction. My wife was completely done with this whole idea of, we're going to make it, we're going to make it, we're going to make it. She's like, when are we ever not going to be in construction? When are we ever going to do those things? We had a disagreement. And I flew that day to a friend, seminary buddy, whose church is 3 times mine, mega. I'm just a large church. The church that I pastor is a large church. This is a whole mega situation. And I stood at the window and I was ready to take the leap. Even though I had all of those things around me. Because in my mind, as a leader, in my mind, I wasn't worried about my eternal life.
Right.
I wasn't worried about that. All I could think of was solve the problem. Got a money problem, got a construction thing. There's a key man insurance policy on your life. If you are out, the policy will pay, construction be completed, the church would move on. That's all I could think about.
Wow, right.
Solutions. I mean, and I think leaders are outcome and solution driven people, vision driven people.
Right.
And I will never ever forget it. I'm standing there. I'm thinking about what am I going to preach to this mega situation. I've never had an opportunity to a mega situation. So I'm sure the preachers who are listening, all of this is going through your head.
Right. Yeah.
I'm also nervous.
Yep.
It's a seminary buddy whose ministry is just completely just fabulous. And that's going through my head. Construction going through my head. Banks not giving us a loan going through my head. Solve the problem going through my head. Argument with wife going through my head. And my coach called me. And I had been trying to call him for strategy. Not for counseling, but for strategy. Because I'm trying to solve the problem. And he said something to me that resonates to this day. He said, if you do that, he didn't know. He said, but if you do that, you will never know how God is going to bring you out.
Wow.
Resonates today.
Yeah. So true.
Full circle. The executive pastor, as recently as this year, has now taken that church and says, we're going to come under your cover.
Oh, wow. Yeah, talk about restoration, right?
You would never know.
Right.
How God was going to bring you out.
Wow.
So I say that to those who are, whatever you're up against. You said, well, Bishop, mine isn't quite like that, but whatever it is, the pressure of what we do and the weight of what we do. This past Sunday, we are doing this series called Why Church. I had this multi-generational panel. We're asking questions. First question, why should I go to church? Why is there a church, period? What does this place do that no other place can do? And my answer was, we connect you to the one who gives you eternal life. Nobody else can do that. That's weighty. that's weighty.
Yeah.
And to that end, to those who are watching and listening, that weight, if you're not careful, you will pull to yourself.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And it's not your house. He already died for it.
Right.
And that resonated with me. That had to really get down on the inside.
Yeah, yeah. That is so key because, as you said, we do oftentimes put greater expectations on ourselves than God is ever putting on us, right? So as you processed through that, obviously, everything didn't just change overnight, right?
No.
You're still dealing with what you're dealing with, right? You're still facing those challenges. So, Geoffrey, what did God teach you as you began to navigate those challenges that helped you, as you say, not only weather the storm, but as you write about, lead your people, the people God entrusted to you through those types of storms? Because it's one thing for us to try to weather them. It's a whole nother thing when we have a responsibility to help lead others. So what did God teach you, brother?
God taught me a lot of things that the scope of this podcast can't.
I'm sure, man.
So let's take a couple.
Yes.
Let's take 2 or 3. One is that it's his church.
Good.
It's his church. And he already died for it. I don't have to. And he's going to take care of it. On this rock I'll build my church, and the very gates of hell will not prevail.
Mm-hmm.
And secondly, I needed to take more time for myself. I'm learning that now. We're past those storms. We have other things we're dealing with. We just got hit with a tornado. I'm in the Midwest, okay?
Right.
Yeah, so we got stuff we got to do. It blew the steeple off the church and so on and so forth. And I look at that and like, that ain't nothing. Really? But it's his church.
Right.
And he taught me that he's got it. Another is to take time for myself,
right,
and not feel guilty about it. I'm currently learning that.
What does that look like for you, Geoffrey? Take time for yourself.
Actually take a day off.
Yeah.
Monday is my day off. Actually take it. Actually take it. And not feel guilty. To see a call and just say, not right now.
Yeah. It's hard. Yeah.
To writing a book was cathartic for me. It was very cathartic. And so to be more reflective would be a third thing. To be more reflective. I'm naturally a reflective person, but to really take those kinds of things in, and to trust my team would be the fourth thing. To trust my team, the team that is around me. There are some on my team that have been with me since the beginning of the church, which is a very valuable thing. Everybody can't say that.
Right.
And so to trust my team, the board, the staff, who is saying, Bishop, we got it. We got it.
Yeah.
And then the fifth thing I would just say, I am looking on taking a sabbatical. I have never, and here's the thing, Jason, and we can move on. The business manager of the church, she said, it's been in your contract since the beginning. I'm not kidding you. I never even read the contract to that.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna plant church. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. We're gonna do this. Okay, you're paying me. Okay, fine. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. And so when she told me that, because I applied for this grant to get a Lilly Foundation to get to go on a sabbatical
Yeah.
and stuff, and she said, you could have done this a long time ago.
Mm.
And and I'm not kidding you. She showed me. I never even read it to that detail.
Right. Yeah.
And I think pastors that are listening and watching now can relate to that. You are so here with what you believe in God is telling you to do. And so that's where I was.
At Pastor Serve, we love walking alongside of pastors and ministry leaders just like you. If you want to learn more about how you can qualify for a complimentary coaching session with one of our trusted ministry coaches, please visit pastorserve.org/free session. You don't want to miss out on this opportunity? That's pastorserve.org/free session. Yeah. No, that's good. That's helpful. I think those are all great things to kind of think about on how we can take time for ourselves. And I love the fact, Geoffrey, that you're taking a sabbatical. I think
let's hope I get the grant.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly. Well, regardless if you get the grant or not, you just tell your business manager, hey, it's in my contract. So love you guys. Yeah. So that idea of taking that sabbatical and taking that time away, and when you said taking a day off and really taking it off, I'm sure everyone watching or listening who's in ministry knows exactly what you mean by that, because we all tend to have trouble, setting time aside, and not being, overcoming that temptation to respond to that text or to pick up that call or to, kind of, hey, you got a little bit of time, jump on, check the emails and respond. Like being able to be disciplined to say, no, I'm carving this time out. I need this time. Refreshment for my soul is so key. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. As you look at, one thing I want to say, you've been so open and honest and vulnerable, not only in this conversation, but throughout your book, Leading Through Storms. And I appreciate that so much because as you alluded to earlier, many times when we're in ministry, we feel like we have to, like that light gets turned on and boom, we've got to look like we've got it all together. But you have found this place where you're willing to talk about your own struggles, your own challenges. Share with us a little bit about how easy was that for you? How did God take you to that place?
Not easy.
Right. Yeah. How did you get there to be open? Because I think that's something that many people in ministry wrestle with. Like
Mm-hmm.
how vulnerable are we willing to be? How open are we willing to be? And what can God do with that? Right.
I came up in a Pentecostal holiness tradition of which I owe my faith and salvation to.
Mm-hmm.
No shade. That tradition, though, can put you in a place of perfection. And you need to get saved every week, kind of piece. And so to break through that was a challenge. I think what helped me was my education,
Mhm.
I have 6 degrees. Many of those have to do with counseling and did so on and so forth. So that helped me to really be reflective and think with them. I think the other things that helped me, I remember my lead elder, and I was talking to him about some of the things I was thinking, man, I don't know what I should do that. And he encouraged me. He says, Bishop, I think it will help people. The other thing that helped that God used,
Mhm.
um, I have 2 adult kids, both in ministry, both seminary graduates. And my daughter, who's a graduate of Bethel um, with marriage and family, really, really encouraged, to be open and saying, hey, Dad, there's a generation out there that's not your generation. Um, uh, Reality TV is their world.
Right.
You being that way will help them draw closer to Christ.
Yeah.
Um, and then I found that what God did was to resonate within me this: find a biblical character that I didn't empty out.
Hmm. That's good.
So then why do you think you are different?
Yeah, that's real good.
Why do you think you're different? I use everybody. I ring them out. Your life is mine. I get to use it for other people.
Yeah.
That really resonated with me.
Yeah, yeah. That's good, Jeffrey. And what's so fascinating about that is that at the same time God is saying, your life is devoted to me, you know what I mean? And is being used for my glory and for the advancement of the kingdom. At that same time, he's also reminding you, as you've shared, that um, you need to be refreshed.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be refueled and refilled. So it's not that God's wringing you out and then casting you
And
aside.
throwing you,
Yeah,
yeah, exactly,
right,
throwing
right,
you away. No.
exactly. Which I love. I love that how you've modeled that, and I'm sure how you're modeling that for your team, your church. The idea that yes, we do sacrifice, we do give, because we're called to, but Jesus just continues to desire to fill us up more and more and more, so that we're
He
not
went to the mountain.
depleting.
He
Right,
went to the mountain and prayed. He
right.
went to the mountain and prayed. He went to the mountain and prayed. That's what I'm learning. And I'm not trying to be all that. Trust me. Those who are watching and listening, I will just tell you, I am learning that part. My daughter is really helping me in that part. We're doing this whole month. We train our leaders every month. We call it Leadership Forum, and we're going through this book that she actually brought to the table.
Hmm.
And I wish I could think of the title right now, but it's this book that really talks about how to take Sabbaths, how you got to get there. You've got to leave from that place and not an empty place.
Good, yeah.
And so I am coming to terms with those pieces right now. I still feel guilty on Monday,
Yeah, yeah.
but I'm getting a better handle of that.
Yeah, I love it, brother. Absolutely love it. It's been a great conversation. As we're winding down, I would love to give you the opportunity, Jeffrey, just to share. You've got the eyes and ears of brothers and sisters in serving in ministry. What words, what encouragement would you have for those who are serving?
Find the thing Find your why,
Mm.
your unique why. What is it? And I know it's ministry. You can give me that. Don't go up here.
Right.
What is the specific thing you believe God has called you to do in the life that He's given you to do it?
Mm.
For mine, it's changed lives. I can put it in a sentence. Find that, put it in a sentence. Get it in a sentence. And then let that be your North Star. That's what I would say. And then I would say, buy my book.
Yeah. 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 That's good. That's good, Geoffrey. And on that note,
You can do that too. That would help me out a lot.
Yeah, exactly. It's a great book, Leading Through Storms. Fantastic book here. And for those of you who are watching and listening along, we have great resources for you that complement the conversation that Geoffrey and I just had. We'll have links to Geoffrey's book, Leading Through Storms, available in the toolkit that you can find at pastorserve.org/network. We create a weekly toolkit for this episode and every episode. You'll find links to the book. You'll find also a Ministry Leaders Growth Guide with questions and insights from this conversation, so you and the ministry team at your local church can dig more deeply into this very important topic that Geoffrey and I have been talking about. And that is, how do you lead when you're discouraged? How do you lead when you're challenged? And that's what Geoffrey shares in his book, Leading Through Storms. So be sure to check that out. Brother, it's been wonderful to have you with us. Thank you for making time to hang out with us here on Front Stage Backstage.
Thank you so much. And for those of you that would like to follow me on all the platforms that you have, Bishop Dudley, PhD, on any of the platforms.
Perfect.
You follow Bishop Dudley, PhD, IG to TikTok to Instagram and all. But thank you so much.
Yeah. And we'll be sure to have links to all of your socials as well in the toolkit for this episode. So everyone who's listening or watching, so if you're driving in your car or you're running down the street listening to this, you can find all the links at pastorserve.org/network. Thank you, brother. Again, God bless you. Thank you for being so open, vulnerable, for sharing. It's an encouragement to me. I know it's encouragement to other pastors and ministry leaders. So thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Awesome. Well, God bless you.
Bless you.
Here at Pastor Serve, we hope you're truly finding value through these episodes of Front Stage Backstage. If so, please consider leaving a review for us on your favorite podcast platform. These reviews help other ministry leaders and pastors just like you find the show so they can benefit as well. Also consider sharing this episode with a colleague or other ministry friend. And don't forget our free toolkit, which is available at pastorserve.org/network. This is Jason Daye, encouraging you to love well, live well, and lead well.